reality.
Totally.
Yay! We're live. Oh, that's the phrase. So, hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Please grab a cup of coffee and let's get to this. Emily Russell Evans, thank you for joining me for this interview. I'm sweating, I'm nervous, but I know if there's anybody I could ask questions about how to go from a brilliant idea to actualized reality, now that's you.
Oh, Selena, I love you. Thank you. I have my coffee, so I'm ready. And there's apparently a lot of energy going on today because I was trying to sleep before this. And all night I was like, what is going on? Usually I have that before something like a big class or something. I have this and a couple other things today, but apparently there's a lot of energy in the world today.
I might have stirred a bit. I would not like to take it all upon me, but I was like, I have to take a deep breath and expand a bit because, So thank you so much for joining. I know It's early there, and I know it's not the easiest or how should I say, the most relaxed period after the Global Bars Day. And thank you so much for having infused the whole world with such a joy and the lightness that you be, and that you were there like 12 hours in a row, like in, out, shaking it all about. Thank you for that.
Well, that's so cool. That was such an example of creating beyond Corona, because last year's Global Bars Days, we showed a little clip of it, but to have hundreds of people in the room, like live, was such a different energy. I mean, talk about being like nervous. I remember getting up on that stage last year and be like, whoa. And this year we really looked to like, how can we create, like, if it's going to be all online, what would create a different feeling? And it was so much fun, and the feedback we got from everyone. But like, I would like to watch Conscious Netflix all the time. Like those interviews, like I'm going back and I'm rewatching them.
Me too. I translated some of them and I go back to them and I'm like, whoa, that, as you said it, conscious Netflix. What would it take to have that into the world like 24/7?
Yeah.
And there's where I come with a question.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know you operate under the title of kitten herder in Access Consciousness. And this is actually, to me, such an accurate description of your immense allowance and your lightness to work with people. And this is where I'm like, okay, more of that, please. And how can I have that too? And I happened to listen and to translate one of your lives in the group Have It All, and you were talking about business and creation. Yeah. And it actually kind of ignited this series of interviews because you were talking so about what it is to create a business and to create further on. So what I would like to ask you is, for somebody who's just starting out, and would like to, has this brilliant idea, but goes to, I don't know how to do that. What would you tell them? What would be the go-to tools to make that happen?
There's so many.
I know.
The first thing is really asking yourself, or maybe have someone else ask you, is what do I know that no one else knows? Or have someone else ask you, what do you know? Sometimes, the questions are funny because we can weasel out of them when we ask ourselves the questions. But when you say, I don't know, it truly is like a lie. You want to ask, what do I know that no one else knows, that if I actualized it, would create a different reality beyond this reality? Because truly, like, the Worldwide Kitten Herder title came from Gary Douglas. And it's when they made Francesca became the worldwide coordinator. And Gary was like, we want to give you like a title. And it's the only thing, it's Worldwide Kitten Herder. I was like, okay. But what's funny is I started working with Access, doing social media, like doing the Facebook page for Gary and Access and like writing posts. Well, actually I started for Simone first, Simone Milicis for Joy Business. Now, I'm not kidding you. The year before this, I didn't own a smartphone, like didn't own one. And I was like, social media, who needs to use that? Right?
Yeah.
So funny. And then I took a course, like an online course, not with Access Consciousness, just something else about social media, because I was teaching yoga at the time and doing some bars. And so I thought, I need this for my yoga business.
Oh, so wait, you had a yoga business.
Small yoga.
Okay, let's call it a yoga business. And then from the yoga business, you actually grew into the worldwide kitten herder, which is untranslatable in any language. You should know that. But it's so sweet. It's like no phone 1 year before you started doing social media.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is it's never going to be logical. Like if you've tried to figure out how, like I have a new nanny that's working with us and our family. And so she's spent the first days at home while I'm working, and she was like, what do you do? What's your job? Like, how did you get your job? And I was like, I created it. I can't explain, there isn't I applied for Worldwide Kitten Herder. So whatever you are looking to create, you've got to create it based on following an energy that you're asking to show up in your life. Because when I was teaching yoga, like I had 2 little girls that were still like little, like a few months old. And then my older one was like 2 years old.
Wow.
And I used to be a high school teacher, and I had not gone back to that after kids. So I was like, okay, I'll teach yoga because I always had I could fit that in on the side. And then I found Access bars and then immediately became a bars facilitator. But I was looking at growing that so that I became a bars facilitator. Then a few other certified facilitators hired me for social media. Like, I saw a post, as you do on Facebook, someone saying, hey, does anyone know anything about social media? And I was like, I do. I just took an online course.
That's brilliant. That's I know. It's okay. So let me stop you here for a moment, because there are so many out there who have this huge idea, but they hit on credentials. And you just said, hey, I just took an online course.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people who are still, cramping on, I have to have the diploma, I have to have the degree, I have to take another class, I have this idea, it's clear for me, I have the energy, I want to go for it, but oh wait, I don't have
That's
the
a
diploma.
Great question. My question would be, what are you waiting for? And what's the difference between so many of us? I was so like that person who I just wanted to take another training. Because I think us humanoids just like learning a billion things. We're like, ooh, another training on this. But then when do you go from I can do this to like I actually am like I'm gonna be this in the world. I'm not gonna like hide. Not that we're always hiding in trainings in school, but there's a moment where you have to go, no matter what my credentials are or what I've taken, like there's this leap where you have to just own and be what you are. And that's that's
own and be what and who you are. Can you say more about that? Because to me I remember when I kind of switched everything, it wasn't the business, it was the switch to go from Romania, where I had my reputation, my established everything, and I moved to Belgium because I was in love. Wow. Now it appears to be the absolutely greatest, biggest leap of faith I have ever done. It was like trusting myself. But I recognize that, how do you live with that? I know how I live with it, but the thing is, what would be the tool to go to when you kind of feel this overwhelm of this is huge, I'm launching into something I cannot control anymore? And how much is it willing to trust
and enjoy it? Like you just said it so well. That's it. And you are so the energy of exactly what that is like. It's like, if you enjoy that, like if you feel overwhelmed or scared, ask truth, really, or am I excited? Like, just like when we have a lot of energy coming up, it's like, whoa. And when you make a quote big choice like that, that is going to really change the trajectory of your future. That's possible. It's not going to feel like, oh, just another choice. Like be grateful for that energy is coming up. And if it's coming up, you're ready. Like, consciousness doesn't give you something you can't handle. You don't have to say yes to it, but it doesn't give you something you can't handle. So if that energy is coming up, I would say trust yourself and jump. And if you can always change your mind, like choices, even moving from Romania to Belgium, like you could change your mind. We feel like we have to stay locked in.
I want to pitch in here. I want because actually I would like to do it further on to how committed are you to yourself? Because when I moved to Belgium, for 1 year, I was suspecting my husband that he would be a serial killer. That's our story. It's in books. It's hilarious. However, but for 1 year, I was not willing to let go of what I had in Romania, but I was also very unhappy here and uncomfortable. So with these huge changes, what else is required? Because to me, it was obvious at that moment. I didn't trust myself enough. But what else could there be to? You said something about it's not going to be another change. It's that uncomfortable and uneasiness.
Yeah.
That stops a lot of us.
It stops so many of us. And I mean, it stopped me before too. And now what I'm I don't know, say learning more of, if that energy is coming up, I'm more like, ooh, awesome. Like, and grateful for that. That must be an indicator, an awareness that I'm choosing something different. I mean, and I get it. When it's not comfortable, it's not always quote fun, but this is the time where you put on like your, as Dr. Dane here says, like your adult, like choose to be the adult of consciousness. Like put on your big boy girl or panties and go, okay, am I like when you move to Belgium, you have a choice to leave, but same like if there's a job you're in or a relationship, and you always have a choice to leave, but look at, would you like, is this adding to your life? Are you going to choose it? Okay. Is it difficult right now? It might be. And when you're an adult of consciousness, you don't pretend you're a victim to anything. You're not the effect of anything. You go, okay, I can change anything. And I also am not expecting everything to be easy. There's a difference between ease and easy. And so when you're willing to like play in consciousness, it's like, okay, all of life, the good, bad, the ugly, the uncomfortable decisions, those days you're like, oh my God, I feel so weird. That includes it all. And then now it's like, okay, what can you be to enjoy that and go, wow, if this feels like this, if I'm really asking for more change, more consciousness, there's going to be days where you feel like so different, you don't know what to do. But now I'm like, well, I've been asking to change. If you've been asking to change and that shows up, don't reject it. It just might not look like what you thought it would.
That would be only the half of ask and you shall receive. That would be ask and you shall dismiss or something like that.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's not the point. And thank you for this, because I realized in a lot of new projects that I was embarking upon, like that was this huge idea, but then I was perceiving this discomfort. And there was something else. I was perceiving all these projections of other people on me who would expect me to do something. And this is something that we briefly exchanged upon in just before we started. Mm-hmm. So what would be the tool to use when somebody is really perceiving all those projections, and instead of going for that joy, if anybody hasn't been yet in Have It All group to watch those lives, now that's the moment to go and check them out. Absolutely phenomenal. But you were talking,
free Facebook group. Anyone can watch them.
Yes, everybody can watch them. And you were talking about joy and what brings you joy and how that fuels your creations. So when you have all these expectations on one hand, and you would like to have your joy, but you start like, "Ee," and then what would be the clue to go to?
Well, that's a great, I love your questions, because it's like, that's the adult consciousness thing too, because one, use the tools. So the first thing, like even this morning when I had that weird energy, I was like, okay, all the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, rejections people have of me, and also that are designed to destroy, I destroy and uncreate them. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, PUD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And then like, I was like, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory a bunch of times. And then I ran the crazy phrase, everything is the opposite of what appears to be, nothing is the opposite of what appears to be. And there was still this like lot of energy, but that's when then you go, okay, like there's a choice to create beyond this reality. And it is so easy. You've got to recognize how different you are. So like first, what beyond this reality acknowledgement are you refusing to give yourself?
Wow.
And everything that is would be destroyed and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good,
Yes,
bad, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what beyond this reality, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities are you that you're refusing to be? And everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, PUD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Because partly when we go to like feeling crappy, not wanting to create, overwhelm, I have too much to do. I mean, and trust me, I do this as well. It's when we're buying this reality, and you're not acknowledging that, like that. If I looked right now, like so, if when I first started working with Access, if I had a day, and I remember feeling so overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could take on another thing. If I had that day today, it would be like a vacation day. Like, compared to the amount on my quote plate. But it has nothing to do with this reality. Like if you're willing to go, I am a creature beyond this reality, time, the amount of work doesn't actually have anything to do. If you really get that, and I'm not saying I function from this every moment, but when you find yourself stressed out or just, all like, look at, are you willing to just go, wait, I'm functioning from this reality. I'm going to choose to create beyond it, because that's where the joy is, and the unexplainable thing, like to create, to take on more projects, to find what you really are joyful in, to actually have space to include like the things you love. You're not going to do it from this reality.
I mean, I know that. I mean, I know that. I know that. And yet, I find myself in those moments when I still go to, okay, cool. I have the tools. I'm willing to use them. And there is another thing.
Yeah.
You were talking about at some point in those lives, and that really struck me. You were talking about when you have, I'm paraphrasing you. I'm sorry. I'm like, you were talking about the thing that might kill your creation or your project when you want to put it out into the world and make something big is the unwillingness to receive the contribution of others and play with others. Am I correct there?
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So could you please say more about, okay, I have this great idea and I know what I want to do and I have the 1, 2, 3, I put it on paper, I did all the stuff, but I wanted to do it all by myself. And then all of a sudden this idea is like, can you talk more about receiving the contribution of?
Oh, yeah. It's how really asking, what can I be today that I've never been willing to receive before?
Ooh, what can I be today that I have not been willing to receive before?
Because it's all about receiving, and it's also like you can receive what you're willing to be. You can also ask, what can I be today that I've never been willing to be before? Those are amazing questions. But when we try to, this is like energetic too. And I am a control freak of magnitude. So I know that like temptation to go, I have an idea and I want to take it from here to here. So it's like exactly what when you do that, or even if you're working with others, when you kind of keep it when you don't open it up and go, wow, what possibilities are you guys aware of? And this could be the people you work with, but it could also be just energetically when you like release something to the world. There's this, and this is one of those things I don't quite know how to explain but it's this energetic willingness to have everyone and everything contribute to a creation and to make it bigger, be willing to ask other people to contribute. It could just be their energy. It could be an idea, like, and it's so not linear. Like you're one of the people that plays with translating some of the lives I do and the different, and I was talking with you and some of the other translators the other day. I was like, this is not just about who then requests Romanian as translation. I'm like, you're adding an energy to the world, so it's bigger. Like, so that it's, and that's just being willing, and it's being willing to receive the contribution from you, from everyone else, rather than using people or trying to find a result or making it linear. It's like, how much fun can you have just creating? Whose other energies can contribute? And in the joy of that, it's like your creations, they take on, they have their own consciousness. So
that's something that I became really aware of, that creations have their own consciousness, and they will actually point you or direct you slightly to where you like a ping. I say ping. If I get to then it's okay. This is how I know that it's so totally. When I ask my husband, what is that he cannot translate that. He's a lot in his head. But this is not about my husband. About my husband in a different interview. So the thing would be, okay. It's about how much. Maybe this is not even a question, but it's like, okay, please help me here. How much are we ready to keep everything for us until things are perfect, and therefore we are not willing to go out into the world because we're afraid of judgments? Maybe this is a conclusion, but I talked to somebody a few days ago and I said, okay, so would you like to talk about this? And she said, no, it's not ready. So what would be what would be that thing that would go over the oops is ready? Are you going to be ready anyway, any day?
Exactly. It's truly like, what are you waiting for? Like, you can use, like, perfectionism is a great way to hold on to things. Like, I'm so a recovering perfectionist, so I get it. And then I can't remember who said it, if it was Christopher Hughes or someone said, I don't ever watch, like, if I make a video, I don't ever watch it. I just press publish. And I was like, I'm going with that. And so I practically never watch anything. Like that's why I like lives, because you can't, you're just on. Like, and with videos or something, like, I just was like, you know what? Why would I sit here and judge myself? Like, just go. So it could be perfectionism. It could, but we use, or being judged, and so much of that is, what have you decided in your head would happen? You'd have to be, you can't do. All of that. Look at all those first. If you have a list of why you're not ready, or why you can't go forward, or, all the things we use, first look at that and go, who does this belong to? Because it might be a point of view that is so, and if it feels so yours when you ask that, you might want to go, okay, everywhere I bought this as mine, and everything I've created and uncreated as a result of buying this as mine. Like, if you bought that, you don't deserve to have this amount of money. It might feel so real to you because you've been buying it your whole life. We'll go, like, return to center, and everywhere you've bought that as yours, and everything you've created and uncreated as a result of buying that, some point of view, like that you don't deserve it, destroying and create it.
This
right,
is
wrong, huge, right, wrong, good, bad, popular insurance, because there, all of us would say we'd love to create bigger, and then we all have some reason, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. And that's a good question. What about our need to control the route of our creations? Yeah. Where you give up control is where the magic happens. So
Ooh, meme. Somebody please meme this.
but that's a great question, because we keep our lives small, so, and our creations and our business, so that we can control it. Like most people have a life just big enough that they can control. And as you start using access tools, that gets a little bigger, but a lot of people will not let go of actual control. So, I mean, this isn't the oldie but goodie. And one of my favorite clearings is really the out of control clearing. So like, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you and your body be to be out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, significance, out of linearities, and out of concentricities, with total ease, joy, and glory for all eternity.
Every time I hear this clearing, it's like my head spins, like,
yeah, and my body relaxes. And because when you're trying to control something, you are never going to receive the magic of the universe. You might create something like bigger than other people, and that's that conversation of like, are you just looking to be greater than others, but like not as great as you?
Oh,
So
that's a huge topic, and it hits home. It hits home.
I know. And but when we control, we're trying to like go, okay, like ask for people to show up. Like when you asked about the joy of letting your projects grow, and this could be like you at home. It doesn't have to be so much of this is just anything in your world. But when you're willing to ask for people that are greater than you to show up and contribute in the areas like that they are great at, and not feel threatened by that, but like, yes, please, like, please. And like people show up that are greater than me, because then they can contribute to you and your business or your house or your kids or your husband, like in ways that you can't imagine, so that you can go, ooh, what do I know? And then have the space to expand into that. Because if you're handling everything and controlling every part and piece, trust me, you're not giving yourself the space to find out what you really know and create from there. You're too busy dealing with everything that you could
micromanaging,
that you could have other people contribute to. Yeah.
And then there is one last thing that I would like you to say a word on, because you have this absolutely gorgeous group, the Neon Sheep Lounge, which is free for everybody to step in.
So much fun.
And there is this challenge that you did somewhere, sorry, I can't remember when, on gratitude.
Yeah.
What does gratitude have to do with actualizing your brilliant idea?
Oh my gosh. It's like the elemental of creation that everyone either forgets about, or they don't value how huge it is. That, I think it was 3 days. It's in the Neon Sheep Lounge. I think I did it in November. And it was so cool. All of these, it's like when I get on with you, when you get asked questions, you realize there's so many pieces. But gratitude is like similar to letting go of control so the universe can contribute. When you have gratitude for the energies that are showing up in your life. So if you ask for like, okay, I'd like, a more nurturing relationship. And then you one day walk in the park and you find a little puppy that like licks your face. If you don't know, like, and if you're like, ooh, that's the energy of nurturing, like I'm not taking that puppy home, but that, oh, it's showing up. Okay. Great, like gratitude for, wow, how magical is that I've asked for this energy and it's showing up. Wow, great. Like, I'm so grateful, and I'll have more of that. Like, yes, please, more. And it's the gratitude coupled with the thank you and, oh my gosh, more please. It's the way kids just kind of be at certain ages, where they're just like running through the day, like, thank you, more. And it's not that they're ungrateful. It's the, oh my gosh, that's great. And a trust that more is possible. That is the fuel for things always getting grateful. If before, like in the conversation, if you dismiss things and are waiting for it to show up exactly what you look like, or like, but I asked for this business to look like this and it doesn't. Well, where's the gratitude of the journey? Like every day should be fun.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. It's not only for anybody out there watching, but for me too, because I find myself going into, I asked for that. Where's that? Yeah. And I kind of miss the whole journey that brought something even bigger than I could have imagined. Like this interview. I have to acknowledge
so much fun. But yeah, you'd miss then if you look back, you're like, wait, there's so much magic on that path. Sometimes it just takes you pausing and then being grateful for all those things.
Emily, I would go on and on and on with you,
So fun.
but I'm actually willing to invite people to have even more of you.
Yes.
I mean, you've been one of those people who opened up worlds and universes with such a generosity, and I'm fine. Like, people have to know about you. People have to know about one specific project that's about to start. I know we're kind of at the deadline, but maybe if you say 2, 3, 4 more words so that people know what is it about. I asked you, well, when everything is, not going fine, where do you go to? Somehow paraphrasing. And I know you have this absolutely gorgeous project, getting your mojo back.
Getting your mojo back.
Getting your mojo back.
I'm so excited. It's a 6-week program that starts next week, but we're taking people for a few more days through Friday. I think we extended it.
Thank you.
But it's a different, so once a week, yes, there's an hour and a half call where it's on Zoom where I can facilitate whatever the energy that's up. But each week, I pre-record like 3 or 4 things like this sometimes. I was just recording some last night, so that you still get all of this content about creation, asking, receiving, that you watch on your own time. And then you can come to the calls with this energy of what's up in your world. Because I used to be a teacher, so I like to give all the content, so that you have and you just have it forever, in your little library of videos and workbooks. We're making workbooks to go with it. So it's that mojo I love that people that weren't English speakers, what is getting your mojo back? And then, so I had to look it up, and it's this resurgence of your energy and your enthusiasm and your creativity, combined with this a success in the world, kind of re-emergence. And I'm that's exactly the energy that I was looking at, because so many of us get to a certain point. I had been I turned 40. Have I created what I'm here to? It must be too late. Too late? What if right now is the time? I think at 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you have more resources available than you did when you were 20, and also more awareness sometimes of what you'd like to create. So it's going from that, sitting there going, I know I want more, to let's take action. And
that is 1, 2, 3 action.
Yeah.
I have the brilliant idea. I would like to do more, but this is now the time to go to action.
Yeah.
So in this reality is called call to action. In the different reality that you would like to create is, okay, what is required of me to actually bring this into the world, be the gift that I truly be, and open so many other doors for other people to know that there is this possibility.
Yeah.
When we are all we are into the world, I mean,
yeah,
that would be only unicorns and dragons, and I don't know what everybody would be parading,
yes, please, more of that.
More of that. So for all of you who are interested in this, I'm going to, put the link over there. It's going to be visible in the description of the live. And just before we say goodbye, and thank you so much for this, let's call it intervention, conscious intervention into your action plans. Is there anything else that you would like to, the last, last wave, energetic wave?
Yeah, I would say, I guess, just ask every day, what can I add to my life that would bring me more joy? What could I choose that would be fun? That simple. And then if you engage and play with more of that each day, it brings in more money. It brings in more possibilities and business and creation, but you've got to choose the play and the joy first. It's that's where the other stuff comes to make your life greater. So asking what could I choose that would be fun today? And then prioritizing some part of your day, even if it's 5 minutes, for that, for actual play.
Thank you so much. This has been this has been a crash course in starting your own business.
It's been so much fun. And like you said, if you guys haven't been to the Facebook group, so I have the Neon Sheep Lounge, but I created a mini challenge, have it all 4-day challenge or something. It looks, I was going to like, yeah.
I cannot post the Facebook thing because the registration goes through another way, but I will.
It like looks like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, burp.
Yes.
But there's one day, there was a business day, money day, body day, relationship day. And there's like PDF workbooks that go with it. It's anyone can join there. So, but come to the Facebook group, the Neon Sheep Lounge. I also have a monthly thing that Juana's putting in there, or the 6-week, like if you're ready to go. But so you can, there's all sorts of things. But thank you. I love talking about this. You can tell, like, because
it's like there's always so much more to find out with you. So thank you so much for that. Yeah. And enjoy the rest of the day. For us, it's afternoon. And how does it get any better than that?
How does it? Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching now and later. Bye-bye.
Bye.